Of course, this year, due to the pandemic, the media has very limited access to the players, especially everything is going to be through Zoom. And of course, the Knicks, even before the pandemic, had a very controlled environment around the players of what could be said. With that being said, you guys already know what happened. Answers are pretty vague when media members would ask questions, especially coming from Julius Randle. But I'll just keep it short and sweet and just focus on the main part, particularly coming from the younger guys, as a lot of them are going to be playing in a contract year, aka Dennis Smith Jr. and Frank Ntilikina. They're both playing in their fourth year of their rookie year contracts. And then on the other side, we have Kevin Knox and Mitchell Robinson trying to get their extensions picked up by the team. But all these young guys could get extended even further before the start of the season. If not, they're going to have to play their way through the season and then hit the restricted free agency market towards the summer. So during media day, remember, everything is through Zoom. One of the reporters had asked Kevin Knox if he had put on any muscle weight.
Yeah, Kevin, you talked about working out a lot and with the weights and stuff. Have you put on like any muscle weight since the end of last season?
Yeah, I mean, to the first question, I put on some great weight this summer. I've gotten a lot stronger. Like I said, I've been really just working on putting weight on my body, lower body getting stronger, upper body, just staying in the weight room, just continue to get stronger each and every day. I think that's also another huge aspect that's going to really help me out on and off the court as well.
With Kevin Knox this season, I'm telling you, it's going to be really interesting because if you look at the position he was drafted under, which is power forward, the Knicks went ahead this season and drafted another power forward in Obi Toppin. So Kevin Knox is at a very unique position right now where he's going to have to really prove himself with not that much time due to the shortened season and the depth chart. I mean, you got Julius Randle. You're going to have to also battle with the new rookie that was drafted. And for the most part, he's going to have to really answer some questions this season. Is he quick enough to play at the wing position at small forward? Or is he going to be strong enough to get down low and play at the original position he should have been at, which is at power forward? Kevin Knox is not the only player that has to prove himself at his position while facing stiff competition. We also have Frank Ntilikina, and he was also asked about it.
A lot of point guards on this roster. Some new, some you're familiar with. How do you see this shaking out? This rotation and specifically for you, you think you're going to be more on the ball, more off the ball? How do you see this all shaking out?
I mean, how it goes. It's part of the game. We have a lot of guys on this team, which is a lot of competitors, which is going to bring the best out of the team. And on a daily basis, we're going to compete hard for 4 minutes, and the coach is going to decide on what he wants to do, and we have trust in him. He knows what he's doing. He knows his job. He's been doing that. So he's going to put the best player together to put the best team on the court.
Now, what was interesting about Frank's interaction with the media was that on multiple occasions, different media members kept referencing Frank to the point guard position battle. I mean, I guess in their eyes, they still see him as the point guard or potential point guard of the team, when in reality, he's just a combo guard. And because of the versatility in today's NBA, he can guard multiple positions. But I just thought it was interesting that they viewed him as a point guard or potential point guard of the team still. But even though the point guard of the Knicks right now is stockpiled, and I'm going to touch base on this later in the video, it's for a reason. Because due to the sickness that's going around, guys are going to be out. So there's going to be plenty of opportunities for all the guys on the team to get their chance to make their mark. And speaking of point guards, a takeaway from Dennis Smith Jr.'s interview was that he stated out of his own mouth that he was 100% healthy. And that's really important for Dennis Smith Jr. because this season he does not have time to waste to be battling the injuries all season. It's been something that's been plaguing him his whole career. He really has to prove himself this season in order to either get an extension or to look good when he hits the restricted free agency market. Now, another interesting takeaway was the interview with Austin Rivers, as he backed up what Alec Burke had told the media previously about the Knicks actually being a good destination for players, even though the media has created this narrative that players do not want to play here. There's just too much opportunity, and there's also a lot of money to be made. Austin Rivers kind of doubled down with what Alec Burke has stated before.
Hey, Austin, welcome to New York. We've seen a lot of free agents in the past not want to come to MSG, and we just had Alec on, and he was speaking about how New York is still the mecca of basketball to him. So I was wondering what attracted to you coming to the Knicks. And then the second part to that question, what was the best advice your dad gave you about playing in New York?
You know, it's funny. I think we're caught in an era where everybody likes riding a wave, and people want to go to places and that are already on the rise, or go to teams and franchises that are doing really well. And people have lost interest in going somewhere and making something great again. So I don't understand the opportunity of people. I don't understand someone not wanting to play for a city like New York. I just didn't get that. I still don't understand that. So for me, the opportunity was obvious to play like Alec alluded to, in a city that is regarded as the mecca of basketball, with the fans that they have. Why not try to be a part of something special? Everything right now is headed in the right direction. From the hiring of the coach to the hiring of the management and assistant coaches, and the picks that they drafted and the players that we've established this year. We're building. You know what I mean? So I think to be a part of something is special. You know what I mean? It's easy to go somewhere where everything is already set up and they've been in the playoffs 4 or 5 years in a row. I've been on those teams, and those are great experiences, but I want to take those experiences and those lessons and help this team and this organization in many ways as possible. And I'm sure Alec feels the same way. So I think just being a part of, I think that era of, like what you said, of people not wanting to come here, our job is to change that, you know what I mean? And we got to make it attractive. And we will, because we have everything else. You got the city of New York. You got the best fans in basketball. You got you play in the Madison Square Garden every night. You got the style of living. You got all of that. So it's our job to, as players, because the management and all that, they can only do so much. So it's exciting. I wanted to be a part of that. Why not? You know what I mean? So I'm really excited for that.
Now, Austin Rivers in particular gave a shout out to the Knicks hiring staff, the front office people, the people working the phones. As a lot of these guys, they're well respected, and Leon Rose has done a great job putting a team together. And not only his team is well respected, they're well connected. And I thought it was very funny that one of the media members had asked Thibodeau about the CAA, especially the Kentucky connection with the Knicks.
Hey, Coach. One thing I think a lot of us noticed when the roster was getting built, there was a common thread of a lot of Kentucky players, a lot of CAA players. Was that done purposefully, kind of familiarity purposes, or what was the thinking behind that, or was it just coincidental?
Yeah, I think more coincidental, and obviously, the Kentucky piece is they have one of the best programs in the country. Whether we're talking about a Kentucky or a Duke, and I know both coaches very well, and oftentimes we'll talk to them about the draft and get their thoughts, and if you're getting a player out of either one of those programs, they understand what the team is about. They understand what winning is about. So it just that part was coincidental. CAA is it's one of the biggest agencies out there, and there's a lot of arms to CAA. There's a number of agents that work for the agency. And so it just so happened that, quite a few of the guys are represented by CAA, but I think that probably holds true for most teams. But that we thought they fit us the best, and we had the opportunity to get those players, and we did. But there wasn't anything that we said, well, we got to have Kentucky players or we have to have CAA players. That's just not the case.
I don't believe the Knicks are going out of their way to get Kentucky players. It's just when the opportunity does present itself, especially in this year's draft, maybe they're 1 or 2 picks away. They didn't really have a guy in mind, and they kind of went with a program that they were familiar with. The only thing I'm hoping is that they don't kind of play out the same situation when it comes to getting free agents. If a guy is maybe he's on Clutch Sports or a different agency, hopefully they don't play favoritism towards constructing the roster according to what agency a player is signed to. That's the only thing I'm afraid of. But speaking of agencies, Mitchell Robinson, I believe he fired Rich Paul from Clutch Sports. So he's no longer affiliated with that. So it'll be very interesting to see how that plays out, because once again, he has to be in negotiations with the Knicks this season, either to get that extension before the season starts, or he's going to hit the restricted free agency. So regardless, they're going to have to be in deep negotiations into what his future is with the team.